Graham.
No, I would like to start with what Winston Churchill said several centuries ago. He said, there are a lot of lies going around the world. The worst part of it is half of it is true. So you've got a lot of lies going around in social media, a lot of results. The worst part is a lot of it is true.
Correct.
But we can't speculate here. We're going to wait for the official declaration of INEC results. There were three things we should have talked about yesterday. We talked about only one, and that's what the historians were concerned about. Looking at the patterns, Benue and Kwara State, two states that have consistently produced the presidents. We're waiting for the results from Benue and Kwara. That is what the historians are interested about. But there are two other things a lot of Nigerians are interested about. The first is, if you belong or you're interested in the president's party, what states should you focus on? I would like to talk about that briefly. There are also some states that if you belong to the opposition party, what states should you focus on? I also want to talk about that briefly. I don't know if you want us to go straight into it or if you still want to go in with some other news that is relevant as well.
I think you should dive in. I think you should dive into it straight away, although I must warn you that we're at less than 4 minutes to our next break. We'll take the break and then, of course, we'll come back and let you continue. So please dive right in.
So let's look at the 9 states that everybody who's interested in the Incumbent party need to focus on. And those are the 9 states that he won for the very first time in 2015. 5 out of those states are in the southwest: Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, and Ondo. Those were the states in the southwest that he won for the first time. Those 5 states gave him 2.3 million votes. If you go up, there were 4 states he won for the first time: Kwara, Kogi State, Benue State, and Adamawa State. Between Kwara, Kogi, Benue, and Adamawa State, the 4 states he won in the north for the first time, he pulled 1.3 million votes. So between those 5 states in the southwest, those 4 states in the north, for the first time, he was able to get 2.3 million plus 1.3 million. That's 3.6 million votes that made him and that made the difference in 2015. So if you're interested in what will happen this time around, you perhaps want to focus on those 9 states. I repeat again: Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, Kwara, Kogi State, Benue State, and Adamawa State. So we're waiting for the results to find out if that trend will happen. I already talked about those 10 states he traditionally wins. 10 states he has always won in his 4 elections: Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto, Zamfara. And in the northeast, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, and Yobe. So will those 10 states still come into his kitty? Will these 9 states that he won for the first time still come into his kitty? We can only wait for INEC's results to come out soon.
Well, that's interesting. Norwa, what do you make first of that? I mean, you've also been observing for quite a while.
I'm mindful not to draw any conclusions at this point. I would just say that he's done a great job of analyzing. Let's just wait
and see what's happening.
Yeah. But if you voted yesterday,
yes,
right?
I did.
And you saw the conduct of the elections, and you've gotten feedback as regards the conduct. So if you take what you saw, what you experienced, what you saw, what you heard, and what Jide is putting together, how would you put it?
I would say that this is probably the first time I couldn't say for sure who was going to win after voting. I mean, my polling center, we've always had, you know, we gist and we just agree. What
polling center was that?
Next door to you, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
And we just kind of agree, and everybody's like, oh, this is where we're going. But this was the first time when there was no agreement as to which way we're going. This was the first time when nobody could really come out and say we've won. You know, and so I kind of figured that if nothing else, this would be close. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why couldn't you? Is it why?
You know, the last election, rightly or wrongly, there was an unwritten, you know, everybody was kind of like, we're fed up with the PDP government, with Jonathan. And so whoever else was there and whoever else happened to have been APC, and like you rightly saw there, again, for the first time, there were, you know, there were alliances that hitherto hadn't existed. And so based on that, we saw what happened. But this time around, we don't have that unanimity of opinion as to who we should vote for. You know, suddenly a lot of things are pulling on us, you know, tribe, religion, you know, ethnicity,
But they've always pulled at us, tribe and religion.
But it's, I don't know why, but it looks as if this time around, I mean, even my wife and I didn't agree.
At that point of the domestic disagreement, we'll take this break, and when we come back, we'll go to Jide and then come back to Norwa. Please stay with us. All right, a warm welcome back to the verdict from that break. We'll be going back to Babajide in just a couple of moments, but our request that you send us pictures of how you're watching Channels Television has already received quite an enthusiastic response. Ijoma, you have some here from the United States, from India,
Hong Kong,
Japan, and so on. And lots and lots of responses. So please keep them coming. Very soon we're going to get them all together and put them on the screen for our viewers to see.
And it's interesting that people are actually taking it, watching on their live TV or outside, and you see all the pictures we're talking about very soon,
Indeed. But while we're also letting you know that you can send in your pictures, you can watch us on the go. Again, on the go. We're live on mobile platforms. YouTube.com/Channels Television. You can watch us as you go anywhere. Download the Channels TV app as well, or the Channels 24 app, so that wherever you are, on the bus, in the train, on the boat, walking along the road, you can actually be watching, keeping tabs on what's happening around the country. Our correspondents are spread around, and we're giving a robust coverage of the elections to everyone. We're bringing in analysts who are talking about their experience and sharing what they also heard from other people, but we're also reaching out to Nigerians in diaspora and our correspondents around the world as well to let us know what they're doing, and they are watching.
And why can we do that? Because we are the
news leader.
That's right.
The news leader did, and I did mention. I mean, just take a look at the roll call of some of the places that within 30 minutes of the announcement we've gotten responses from: Japan, the United States, India, South Africa. I mean, that's not to talk about the African continent and, of course, here at home in Nigeria. Please keep them coming. As we said, very soon we'll put this up for everyone to see. So, Jide, before the break, you told us that you had 2 things. Now, while we're on break, you increased that to 3. And you've just told us about 1. So there are 2 left. And then you've added a bonus.
We can spend the entire day here. We can spend the entire day here.
Please go on.
But again, we've talked about those 10 states that the president traditionally always wins. Those that are sympathetic or those that are interested in what will happen in the party of the president will be focusing on if that will still happen, those same 10 states. And what sort of margins will come out from those 10 states? We've talked about those 9 states that for the first time he won 4 years ago that made him president. 5 of them in the southwest, 3 of them in the north central, again, Kwara, Kogi, Benue states, and Adamawa state he won for the first time. Those are the 9 states that made a difference in 2015. So those that are interested in what is happening in the party of the incumbent will be looking at its traditional 10 states and those 9 states. However, there's a lot of excitement in the camp of the opposition. Again, why is there excitement? There are 15 states, Ijoma, there are 15 states that the incumbent is yet to win. Ekiti State, in all its previous 4 elections, is yet to win in Ekiti State. All the states, all the 6 states in the south-south, the incumbent is yet to win an election there. All the 5 states in the southeast, in all its history in contesting elections, is yet to win an election there. And if you look at what is going on in these 3 states here, if you look at them carefully, Plateau, Nasarawa, Taraba, these 3 same states that are within the same region, the president is yet to win an election in these 3 states, Plateau, Nasarawa, and Taraba states. So if you add it all together, Ekiti, 1, 6 states in the south-south, that makes it 7, plus 5 states in the southeast, that makes it 12, Nasarawa, 13, Plateau, 14, and Taraba state, 15. Those are the 15 states that makes the opposition excited about, that if they're able to get big margins there, then they stand a chance. And when we say opposition, we're not just talking about the main opposition, we're talking about all the opposition parties. And even though we've seen those 15 states that is yet to win, he believes that this time around there can be a difference. You talked about some bonus, and here's the bonus. A lot of Nigerians are saying, should we always focus on the main party or the major opposition party? And you know who the main party and the major opposition party is currently. But let's look at the history and what has happened in the Fourth Republic. Who always comes third? And what happens, and what kind of results does the third person get? 2003, Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, Abga. He was the third candidate. He scored 1.2 million votes. Again, that was significantly far from what Obasanjo scored. What happened in 2007? Atiku, the AC party, he scored 2.5 million votes. Nuru Ribadu, in 2011, ACN, 2 million votes. And you have Adebayo Ayeni, the lowest we've had in the history, only 53,000 votes. APA, that's the African Alliance Party. So what we've seen is, in most times, Nigeria still will pick between a main party and a major opposition party. But if we want to go a bit further, Ladi, you want to look at what happened since 1979. You even had Nnamdi Azikiwe as well, who performed better than what's happened in the Fourth Republic. So in 1979, even though he became third, he was the third candidate, he scored 2.8 million votes. And in 1983, he even scored better than that. He scored over 3 million votes. So what has happened is, as the years have gone by, two dominant parties have become stronger. And so we've seen it. If you look at this trend, especially from 2007, we see Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, 2.5 million votes in 2007. He was third. 2011, Nuru Ribadu, 2 million votes. We see that decline. And then we see the list.
Just 53,000.
Just 53,000 votes. So this time around, INEC says we've got 72.7 million PVCs. We're not too sure what the voter turnout will be. We're hoping it will be above 50%. We are now going to be waiting to see who will be third and what will the third person score. I don't know if the president will be third. I don't know if the major opposition is going to be third. I don't know who will be third, but I guess will be the two major parties perhaps could still get the majority of the votes, even though we don't know who will be first, who will be second. But I strongly believe that between the first candidate and the second candidate, that is where a lot of Nigerians will swing to.
Yeah, you know, looking at the analysis, we've never actually had 91 parties, and you're analyzing based on the trends that we've had in the past. But, you know, anytime we talk about the parties, we look at the top 2 or top 3, top 5, and then the other parties get upset because they feel they're in the race as well, and there could be an upset you don't know. And so what would it, looking at the state by state, what would it be like if there's an upset, and where? Looking at the states that, you know, you said some of the states are potentially for one side, and the others are potentially for the other side. Are there any that are, you know, neutral and could head another way?
So we could take a look at some states that...
Well, Jide, while you're doing that, there we have footage from the International Conference Center. That's the National Coalition Center. That's what on the screen there. So, Jide, while you're talking, also know that what you're discussing as per history might likely begin to happen present day at the International Conference Center. But carry on.
So here's what's very interesting. Nigerians are not just waiting for the results. We are waiting for the sequence of the results. Which states will come first? Will Kano State come first? Will Lagos State come first? Will Katsina State come first? Because a lot of Nigerians believe that once you see some numbers from big states, river states, it then perhaps will tell you what the results, the final results will be. But there are some states that perhaps will really come out as very interesting, especially if you look at the South and the Southeast. There are some states there that traditionally the incumbent hasn't performed, hasn't gotten big numbers. And by big numbers, we're looking at that 25% threshold.
Okay, apologies, Jide. We're just looking at the live pictures that we have here coming in from Abuja there. As we said before, waiting for this to get on the way. Just to show you the mood.
Perhaps just listen in for a few seconds and see if there's anything happening.